y'all are live.
Okay, Tag, I think everything's live, so
Okay, it is 6 o'clock, a few seconds before on July 28th, Tuesday, July 28th. Call this meeting to order, the Glasgow Electric Plant Board. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda and any additions. Can we like to entertain a motion to accept the agenda?
I would like to move to add 2 items to the start of the agenda.
Okay, BT.
I'd like to move that number 1, for an election of officers, and number 2, a consideration of the external legal counsel for the GEPB.
Okay, well, the first item on the agenda, or that you're asking to change on the agenda, is contravening to both state and local law, or federal law. We don't have term limits for our officers.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Tag.
I said the first item that you've asked for is contravening to current law. We don't have term limits for current officers. There is no term limit designated. It's been held that these officers hold their positions throughout their term as a board member. So we have a procedural error with that particular motion. So I will not ask for any discussion and will not call for the question on that motion. We'll be happy to have a discussion on your second motion. If you'd like to restate that, please.
I move to suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules regarding what? You need to state what you're going to suspend.
I move to suspend the rules to add these 2 items to the agenda.
Well, again, as chairman, I cannot allow a motion that is contravening to current law. So the first item that you're requesting is will not be allowed in this as an addition to the agenda. Now we can move on to number 2 if you would like.
I move to suspend the rules. I ask for a vote on suspending the rules to add these 2 items.
I understand it's fruit of the forbidden tree, DT. If we don't have the ability to change the rules at our level if it's contravening to current law. So we're not going to hear that first motion. Be happy to take up the second one if you'd like.
I ask the council for his opinion.
Well, that would require discussion, DT, and we've not gotten to the discussion phase because we've not had a second to the motion. And we're not going to allow discussion on this because, again, it is a procedurally incorrect motion.
I ask for the opinion of the council as to whether or not my motions are germane.
I had to unmute myself there, Tag. I have myself muted. Can you tell me what law you're referring to?
Well, there is the law is silent to term limits, and without term limits specifically annotated within the law, there is no requirement and there is no vehicle for changing out officers in the middle of a term. So we'll not be taking that up this evening.
Well, I mean, that'd be your decision. You know, as chairman, I guess you run the meetings. I'm just not aware of that. I just want you to know that. And, you know, you guys are to schedule your own procedures and policies. And to my knowledge, that's never been done. I know this was brought up once before, I think about several months ago, about the election of officers, when you're going to have elections and how long they're going to be in office, et cetera. And I think it was just tabled at that time. Nobody ever really brought it up. It was on the agenda, but I don't think it was ever discussed, if I'm correct.
Right. Yeah. So we just, we want to make sure we're in compliance with laws and also our own rules of procedure. And since we're silent to that, there's really not a vehicle for us to get there. So we're not going to be taking that up this evening. We can move on to number 2.
Hey, Tag, real quick. Cody, we can't really, you're really muffled. They can't tell what you're saying on TV. Is there something up with your mic?
I don't believe so.
It's really muffled. It's hard to, I don't know by the time it's coming out on TV if they can actually tell what you're saying.
All right. Let me turn it up a little bit and see if that helps. Is that any better?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for some clarification, here it says to conduct video teleconferencing, cities must provide a notice that states that the meeting will be held by video teleconference and detail the mechanism by which the video teleconference can be accessed, such as a web address, link, television channel, or other marker that provides public access to see and hear the meeting. Further, the notice must conform to the 24-hour time frame and other transmission and posting requirements of KRS 61.823 for special meetings. Based on the opinion, this rule will apply whether the meeting is a special or regular meeting that is being teleconferenced. Hang on. Blah, 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 blah. So to get down to where I was trying to get to, I can't see now. So it talks about if at any time the video or audio is disrupted, meeting must be discontinued until the video and audio are restored. But there was a point here about the it is also important to note that if a quorum of the legislative body or other public agency is meeting in person, media must be permitted within the location. We know all that. Wait just a minute, I'm trying to find what I just scrolled through that talked about the agenda via teleconference. Let me find it. A detailed agenda must be included in the notice, and only those subjects listed on the meeting agenda can be discussed. If at any time the video, that's where it goes into if any time the video or audio is disrupted. But that one line there validates that we need to stick to the agenda tonight.
Again, SB 150, we want to make sure we're compliant with all state and local laws. SB 150 is still in effect at this point, so we can move on to the regular agenda. If you'd like to bring that up at a later date, we have to discuss that. But at this point, we don't have a mechanism for getting there.
And Tag, you're really, really muffled. I don't know if you need to be closer to your mic or what, but you're really muffled.
Yeah, he's muffled on my end too.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on just a second.
No, we know you are louder than that.
Okay, how's that better?
That's much better. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I moved over to my webcam mic instead of my computer mic, so we're good.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we got a motion on the table. Can I get a second for approving the agenda for the evening?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Hey, Tag, what did y'all do about his second motion? Maybe I missed it.
Well, Libby just brought up the point that really at this point, Ronnie, I guess we'll have to rely on your legal expertise here, but under SB 150, I believe once the agenda has been posted, it's been out there for 24 hours, you really have to stick with the agenda that's been posted.
I have to go back and look at SB 150, but I was just looking at, of course, under our procedures, which you guys adopted, it does say that you can, add, delete things from the agenda, so that our procedures would be okay.
But now our procedures have to take a second seat to state law, correct?
Well, what I was reading was from Kentucky League of Cities, Ron.
State law says you design your own policies and procedures for this board.
I'm talking about SB 150.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I've got that. I just got to get to where Libby was talking about. Now I only saw one provision in there that talks about the trying to do video. It allows you to do audio versus just video conference. I think I'm reading what she's talking about here. Maybe how far down was it you saw that?
Let me go back and see exactly where it's at.
keep them all there at once. One is always dropped off.
No, 'cause this is not a special meeting. This is a regular meeting.
No, but it says whether special or regular meeting, the notice has to be given, blah, blah, blah. Further, the notice must conform to the 24-hour time frame and other transmission and posting requirements.
I'm asking what section is that in, Libby?
That is actually,
I've got the House bill here, so.
well, that's actually Attorney General Cameron's issue published by the Kentucky League of Cities, or the Kentucky Open General, Attorney General Open Meetings Opinion during pandemic, and this was put out by the Kentucky League of Cities. It would be his opinion, OAG 20-05.
Okay, I mean, I don't have that tag, so I can't. I just got the Senate bill. It does make reference to that, so.
We can't see you for some reason.
Yeah, we've already been to circuit court and had one ruling about an illegal meeting. I think we want to probably err on the side of caution with most of this, so.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that we had to open meetings course or a class last year, and we certainly, not that it was bad, but certainly don't want to have to do another one for no reason, really.
Ronnie, you got anything else to add?
No, I don't have that Attorney General's opinion that she's making reference to. Apparently, it's brand new. She said 20. It came out.
Actually, it was.
I know it's brand new.
March 19th to be exact.
I do not have that opinion.
Okay, so we've got.
I just know the House bill did not address any time requirements like that. If that's something he's interpreted, then of course, I guess it's like any other Attorney General opinion. You can decide what you want to do with it.
Well, as I stated before, we've already been to court once, been admonished for holding an illegal meeting in the drive-through. We've already had one violation and had to go to training for open meetings violations. I don't believe we want to do this again, so it's probably best to err on the side of caution, particularly when we have an interpretation of the law provided by AG Cameron. So we've got a motion and we got a second on the approval of the agenda and any additions. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the agenda and any additions this evening signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Okay, we'll have to take a raise of hand. So all opposed to the agenda, raise your hand, please. Okay, so we got 3-2 on opposing the agenda. So I suppose if we can't get the agenda approved, we'll not be having a meeting this evening.
Oh my gosh, are we back to this? I'm sorry, I'm just going to put it like it is. Are we back to this total childishness that we cannot have a meeting to conduct business all because we can't even approve an agenda? Y'all come on.
Maybe when the majority of the board can't vote and make a decision, then you're not going to have a meeting.
Yes, DT, but you know what? If you want to make decisions, let's make decisions about things that matter, not the agenda.
You're trying to.
No, there's never been any discussion. Nobody has ever sat around a table and hashed this stuff out. It's been all trying to one-up everybody, backroom dealings, this, that, and the other, and it's time for everybody to act like some adults.
We have discussed.
I'm sorry for my outburst, but that's just the point I'm at.
Hey, Tag.
Yes.
I had a question. Of course, number 1 says approval of agenda and any additions. Have you in the past ever added anything to it?
Yeah, oh yeah, we have, Glenn, but this is a little bit different. We're working under, through video conferencing at this point. It limits the public input plus the media's input. And if we start changing agenda items without the 24-hour notice for people to come into a Zoom meeting rather than just walking through a door, it complicates things much more for people to have their input. So since we've, already been admonished once by the circuit court, been admonished again by a open meetings violation and had to go to training for this, I really don't think we want to do this a third time. We just heard from Libby, and we just heard from Ronnie, that Ronnie may not agree, but he certainly can't disagree with the fact of what was just read from Kentucky League of Cities OAG opinion, that we want to ensure that we have all the public input possible, participation possible, and you can't accomplish that if you start changing the agenda on a moment's notice without proper public input and proper notification. So if we can't get an agreement with the agenda for the evening, we just won't have a meeting this evening.
Of course, I mean, the public doesn't have any say over our election of officers. They don't have any input on that. That's just the 5 of us.
Well,
No,
they may have input on it.
They don't. But the point is, Glenn, under the pandemic conditions, everything has changed about public meetings. And I mean, there's a lot of stipulations that go into public meetings and the requirements for those. And I just plainly read that from the Attorney General's opinion dated March 19th, and it was OAG 20-05. It talked about the requirements for calling a special meeting and being in compliance. And it also talked about what was published on the agenda within a 24-hour time frame. It needed to stick to that specific agenda. So I know you weren't here last year. We had to do a whole class on open meetings. And so, I mean, it wasn't a bad class. Don't get me wrong. It was interesting, actually. But the point is, we don't want to be ordered to have to do another one.
Well, I have an issue with, intentionally violating a law, or, violating guidance on a law that's codified in the regulations. So we need to either approve the agenda, or we can adjourn for the evening.
I would go by whatever our attorney says. I mean, I'm fine with whatever Ronnie says on it.
I'm trying to read that Attorney General's opinion right now. I found it, Libby, so I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find I'm hoping that the 24 hours sticks out somewhere else where I don't have to read all the rest of it, but
yeah, it's down through maybe, I've already closed it, but maybe 3rd paragraph. It's a little ways down.
I'll find it because it's really talking about, that might be what we call dicta in the regular opinion. So that wasn't why it was presented, I think, to the Attorney General, the issue.
It's in the 4th paragraph. Really long paragraph.
Yeah. The 4th one?
Yep.
Because in that case, the issue was whether you got to provide a physical location for them to gather to view the video conference, which they said no. Maybe my 4th paragraph ain't very long, so I don't know where you're getting at.
Well.
What you're counting as paragraphs. I got several little be short paragraphs, but what's it start with?
It starts with to conduct video teleconferencing.
Okay. March 18th, 2020.
Mm.
2005, that's one you're reading, right?
Yep. OAG 20-05.
Yes, ma'am. I don't see our opinions.
Well, actually, let me take that back, Ron. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm actually reading a summation of that issue that was sent out from the Kentucky League of Cities.
Okay. Because it's not, I'm just saying I cannot find 24 in there anywhere. So I'm looking at the opinion itself.
Actually, yeah, because I was going to say, I'm on the Kentucky League of Cities website.
All right. Get to the bottom and see what it says. I think it's going back and talking about the, if there's disruption in the meeting as far as the broadcast, you got to stop and all those type things.
Yeah, it talks about that as well.
I think the main issue in that case was a meeting room for the public to view, which obviously we're not providing. And I think he says in that, you don't have to do that in these times. Whether the League of Cities interpreted that notice business, I do not find anything in there about the agenda.
Well, the way it reads right here on the KLC website, it says, based on the opinion, this rule will apply whether the meeting is special or regular meeting that is being teleconferenced. A detailed agenda must be included in the notice, and only those subjects listed on the meeting agenda can be discussed. Then it goes on to talk about if the audio or video is disrupted.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt that what you're saying is what it says. I'm just saying It's not Attorney General opinion.
Well, any additions are on the agenda, so.
Excuse me. I couldn't hear you, Marlon.
Ma'am?
I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that?
It says any additions is on the agenda.
That's
Well,
that's number one. That's
on every agenda.
Yeah, that's on every agenda. That's just a legacy issue. It's been pulled over from time to time. It's, I don't believe that's going to allow us to get around this issue of ensuring that we've got an opportunity for public and media input. I'm sorry, public input and media participation. So as I stated before, it's probably better safe than sorry at this point.
You have to, sorry, Tag, but I guess you make that decision, but I don't see anything prohibited it, but, y'all just have to decide how you want to proceed with what Libby's cited to you there.
Right. Well, like I was saying, I think it's best probably to err on the side of caution. So we've got I'm going to go ahead and call for the question. Again, approval of agenda and any additions signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, so we've got 3-2. So I guess we will request that we call for a motion that we adjourn.
I move.
Okay.
Here we go again.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Y'all have a real pleasant evening.
Bye-bye.